Cop Lewis Edwards blackmailed his victims, who were at the ages of 10 through 16, into sharing graphic content. The 24-year-old threatened to share the images and tell their families and friends if they failed to comply. He even begged one of the girls' dads not to report him, stating, quote, "Please don't say anything. I won't share them. I won't do anything." Edwards, who refused to attend court for his sentencing, has now been jailed for life with a minimum of 12 years after admitting to 22 counts of blackmail and 138 minor offenses. He also pled guilty to refusing to disclose the password to a mobile phone and a USB stick. Sentencing Judge Tracy Lloyd Clarkey stated that Edwards groomed the victims psychologically, manipulated them until he had gained control, stated that the fiend gained sadistic enjoyment from the cruel distress he caused. Cardiff Crown Court heard all but one of his 210 victims who were abused over the 3-year period while he was serving officer with the South Wales Police. One teen was targeted just 17 days after Edwards met with her as part of his duties. The predator even contacted his victims during work hours on 30 different occasions. He posed as a 14-year-old boy to entice the girls to send these images and videos via a Snapchat. Sometimes Edwards would send back videos of himself performing acts and encourage his victims to do the same. The fiend also made the girls write Snap God, a distributor of minor images on their bodies. Victims telling one girl that another girl had erased themselves and that he didn't care if she did as well. The cop also threatened to bomb the house of one of the teens and stated that he would exile their parents if she stopped sending the images. Some girls were so traumatized that they started self-harming, while one of the girls slept with a hammer under the pillow. In one video Edwards had recorded, a teenage girl could be seen crying and wiping tears from her eyes. One of his victims bravely told the court how she felt terrified by Edwards' threats after believing at first she was speaking to a really nice boy. Her mom, who had also read out a statement, stated that, quote, "We cannot get our heads around the fact that somebody who was there to protect you could do all of this." The smirk he gave us in court shows that he has no remorse. I do not think he can or will have any understanding or care how he has impacted the victims. Lewis Edwards, I want you to know that a family, we will never forgive you and we feel nothing for you but hate. Another victim told how she is no longer a smiley person and instead never wants to go outside and feels like she is always panicking. The girl added, "I hate him. He's horrible. I don't know how someone could do this to me." The mother of another victim choked back tears as she revealed that her daughter has started self-harming herself as a result of Edwards. Quote, "Lewis Edwards, I want you to know what you have done to my child and my family. You have broken us. You have broken her heart to the point that she doesn't want to live anymore. I want the court to understand the irreparable damage you have caused all of us." The reign of terror finally came to an end when police received intelligence about suspicious bank transactions and online activity. This was linked to incidents of images being downloaded from the dark web. Officers found an IP address which led them to Edwards' home. Again, the cop was immediately suspended from duty and resigned when he was discovered to be a serving officer. He has now been dismissed from the force following an accelerated misconduct hearing and is banned from ever returning to the police force. Edwards previously pled guilty to 161 offenses, including blackmail, inciting a child to engage in activities, making a child watch acts, demanding indecent images, and making indecent images. Assistant Chief Constable Danny Richards stated that vetting process for Edwards came back clear when he joined the police. The officer confirmed that there is nothing to indicate that he was involved in such abhorrent offenses against children. He also added, "The crimes committed by Lewis Edwards are despicable and the public will be as shocked and sickened as we are that such appalling offenses were committed by a serving police officer." Soon, as we knew the offender was a serving police officer, Edwards was suspended and sacked at a misconduct hearing, which was held at the very earliest opportunity to remove him from policing. His behavior only serves to damage the public's trust and confidence in policing and undermines the work of the responsible, hardworking police officers who serve the community of South Wales with courage and pride. Anyone who fears they or a loved one who's ever been affected by Edwards' sickening crimes has been asked to call South Wales Police on one-on-one quoting reference 23000400906. And I'm going to continue to state what I've always been stating, that this is a problem that obviously a lot of adults don't see directly as a problem, and nobody realistically seems to have a solution. Because every single time you look around, who's the main one always committing these acts? You always see adults that are in power, that have some type of power or position where they are over the general public. It doesn't matter if it's a judge, doesn't matter if it's a lawyer, doesn't matter if it may be somebody who is of the military, doesn't matter if it may be some corporate executive, doesn't matter if it's some rich, millionaire. You have people out there who will specifically go directly after what is yours, your pride, your joy, your family. And these are the acts that they decide to commit every single time because there are no type of checks, no type of balances. And also, when you just so happen to bring these types of things up on social media, seemingly enough, there's never any type of real response. You never really see mainstream media. You never really see any of the major platforms really try to present this as a problem. You have to question, why is that? Why is it that they don't want to fix a problem? Why is it that they don't want to highlight this problem and try to create a solution, to try to create a think tank so that things like this won't necessarily take place, so that kids can actually be kids and kids can actually be safe and not tricked into thinking that a grown, full-fledged adult is magically some 14-year-old, because that's what he did. There used to be a point in time where people would always complain that you would have, girls lying about their age to get into clubs, which they still do, or to get alcohol, which they still do, or to go to college parties, which they still do. And now we're living in a time where you got some men who can decide to shave and have their hair a certain type of way, where they will maybe potentially fit within the parameters of being a teenager. And they will use this in order to be with teenage girls. This is not what is supposed to happen. There are borders. There are areas of which people are supposed to be in. When you are of adulthood, you are supposed to be with and stay around adults. Those are the people that you seek relationships with. Those are the people that you seek in different types of engagements with. Those are the type of people that you text message, that you talk to, that you have conversations with, adult conversations with. You're not supposed to be using your power and your position and however it is that you look to decide that, oh well, I'm going to just act like I fit directly in high school. That's what I'm going to do. That seems to be my best option. It's the exact same thing that I've stated for a lot of the women who are teachers that opt to do the exact same things, a power play, when it is that they're a teacher. Those are women that are reliving what it is that they went through. And now they find themselves to be the girl in power, the it girl, the one that everybody has to talk to. She's the most popular one there. She's the one that everybody has to remember her name and look at every single day. That's the exact same thing with Edwards. He was more than likely a guy in school that was getting picked on. He was more than likely a guy in school that wasn't getting chosen, that was getting shut down every single time, whenever it is that he decided that he wanted to ask a girl out. So now he became a cop. And now, because he looks a certain type of way, feels that he can fit in a certain type of parameter, this is what he decides to do in order to relive that era, a far gone era, so that he can now be the man that he felt that he always was. This is why I always tell parents, whenever you hand your kids over this supercomputer, which is a cell phone, you're giving them the keys to the whole world. You're giving them access to talk to other people from around the way of which you've never seen or even known. Some of your kids are talking to people all the way across the world. And this is what inevitably what that leads to. Stuff like this taking place and happening, where you have Adults like this that will seek attention from your family. They will try to coerce your family. They will try to instill fear directly into your family in order to get what it is that they want specifically out of them. So hopefully at a point in time, we'll get to a point in society where society will actually legitimately care about the family, about the kids, and actually protecting the kids. But up until that point, Edward Lewis will always be a thing out here.